world champion kickboxer, pimp, mafia-associated criminal. Like, I've got all this stuff, and everyone's like, who is this dude? Like, surely it can't all be true. Well, it's all true.
Andrew Tate and his brother Tristan Tate can tell you have been charged by police in the UK. Andrew Tate facing 10 charges.
Andrew Tate, a man who once positioned himself as the embodiment of modern masculinity, a self-proclaimed alpha male, and a global internet phenomenon. Yet behind the fast cars, the tailored suits, and the carefully cultivated bravado lies a story of exaggeration, deception, and scandal. What looked like a meteoric rise was built on half-truths, myths, and manipulation, and when the spotlight grew too bright, the cracks in his empire began to show. This is the story of how Andrew Tate went from an obscure kickboxer to one of the most Googled men in the world before the truth behind his empire began to collapse. When Andrew Tate first appeared on social media, he was far from the figure who would later dominate headlines. He was not yet the billionaire businessman he claimed to be, nor the invincible fighter he presented in interviews. Instead, he was a man searching for a narrative, piecing together fragments of truth and fiction to elevate himself beyond the limits of his reality. Kickboxing became his entry point. He often declared himself a 4-time world champion, parading belts as proof of his dominance. To casual observers, this painted the image of a decorated athlete, a man who had proven his strength in the crucible of combat. But beneath the surface, the reality was far less impressive. He did fight, and he did win matches, but the titles came from smaller organizations, leagues that carried little recognition in the wider combat sports world. His record of 76 wins and 9 losses was good, but not extraordinary compared to true elite fighters. Yet in the world of online storytelling, context doesn't matter. A belt is a belt, and a confident declaration of being a world champion was enough to convince millions. This exaggeration became the foundation of a myth. Tate understood something crucial about the internet. Perception can matter more than truth. If enough people believe the story becomes reality.
That's why I'm top G. Everything I say is fucking true all the time.
His ability to sell himself didn't end with sports. He wove his childhood into a narrative that sounded like the opening act of a superhero film. His father, Andrew Tate, was indeed a respected chess player, a man with real talent. But Andrew elevated this into legend. He claimed to have grown up surrounded by chess geniuses, to have been a prodigy who won tournaments as a child, destined for greatness from the very start. In truth, Emery was not a grandmaster, but an international master, one rank below. And no records exist of Andrew winning the Indiana State Championship at age 5, a claim he repeated often. Still, the point wasn't accuracy, it was image. By exaggerating his past, Tate planted the idea that he was born exceptional, that his greatness was not earned, but innate. Millions of young men searching for direction believed it. They saw not just a man, but a role model who seemed larger than life. They believed his stories because they wanted to. In a world where many felt lost or overlooked, Tate presented himself as proof that greatness was possible. And for a while, the illusion held. But illusions are fragile. Small cracks began to appear as journalists and critics dug deeper. Fans who once idolized him began to ask questions. If one detail of his life was exaggerated, what else might not be true? At first, his supporters brushed these doubts aside, choosing to believe that he was a victim of jealousy or misunderstanding. But as more inconsistencies surfaced, the whispers grew louder. Tate did not stay silent. He leaned into controversy, presenting himself as a man under attack by shadowy forces. He called it the Matrix.
The War Room is an organization I run for individuals who are trying to escape the Matrix.
So can women join it?
Women love the Matrix.
So what's your Matrix?
No, the Matrix.
A system that sought to silence him for speaking the truth. To many of his loyal followers, this only added to his mystique. If the system was against him, then surely he must be dangerous to the status quo. But to outsiders, it looked like deflection, an attempt to dodge accountability by spinning a new narrative. This pattern, avoid the facts, distract with drama, and return stronger, became his signature move. The shift in persona from athlete to prophet of masculinity accelerated as Tate embraced the internet. He presented himself in expensive suits, driving luxury cars, living in mansions, surrounded by wealth and women. Every image was carefully designed to sell not just himself, but an idea that he was the ultimate alpha male. His message was simple but powerful. Men were being weakened by society. Masculinity was under attack. He alone offered the blueprint to reclaim it. That blueprint took the form of Hustlers University, a paid online program that promised the secrets of wealth and success. For $50 a month, subscribers were told they could learn how to make money online, build businesses, and escape the 9-to-5 grind. The marketing was brilliant. Students weren't just buying lessons, they were buying proximity to Tate's lifestyle. Within months, hundreds of thousands signed up, generating tens of millions in revenue. But the truth was more complex. Many students reported they gained little practical knowledge. Instead, they were taught how to recruit others, turning the platform into a multi-level marketing scheme. The promise of wealth was real only for those at the top, the man selling the dream. What looked like empowerment was, in practice, exploitation. For many who invested their time and money, the realization that they were pawns in a cycle of hype and recruitment was crushing. And here's where I need to pause. If you've made it this far into the video, clearly you value deep dives like this that separate myth from fact. So take a second right now to hit that subscribe button. It helps the channel grow, and it means I can keep bringing you more in-depth documentaries just like this one. Now let's get back to the story. As the numbers grew, so did the backlash. Critics began exposing Hustlers University as a pyramid built on false promises. Former students spoke out, sharing stories of wasted time, wasted money, and broken trust. The illusion of Tate as a benevolent mentor began to crack, yet in true fashion, he did not apologize. He doubled down, reframing the criticism as proof that he was dangerous to the system. Every accusation became another piece of evidence in his Matrix narrative. The controversy only fueled his fame. In 2022, he became one of the most searched men in the world, his videos generating billions of views. The algorithm rewarded outrage, and Tate supplied it endlessly. To his supporters, he was a symbol of defiance. To his critics, he was a dangerous influence, spreading misogyny and manipulation. Either way, everyone was talking about him. But the bigger the spotlight, the harder it became to hide. Behind the bravado, law enforcement was taking notice. Old clips resurfaced where Tate openly admitted to moving to Romania because he believed it would be easier to avoid serious consequences for misconduct.
Oh no, not a court in Romania. The internationally respected Romanian courts. What do you do?
They're corruption-free, as we all know.
Look at it, put me in jail? Put me in jail. You put me in jail, I'm gonna walk in there with a pile of money like this. Guards. Boom, 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 boom.
He spoke of a culture where corruption could provide cover. For some, this was framed as cunning strategy. For others, it was a chilling admission. By late 2022, the illusion finally collided with reality. Romanian authorities arrested Andrew Tate and his brother Tristan on charges of human trafficking, organized crime, and abuse. Images of the once untouchable influencer being escorted in handcuffs went viral within minutes. The same internet that had elevated him into superstardom now watched his downfall in real time. Hashtags bearing his name trended across platforms, but this time the tone was different. For many, it was a wake-up call. The suits, the supercars, the wealth, none of it placed him above the law. The arrests marked a turning point, not just for Tate, but for the millions who had followed his every word. To his critics, it was vindication, proof that no amount of online fame could shield someone forever. To his defenders, it was further evidence of the Matrix at work, a conspiracy designed to silence a truth-teller. But beneath the debate lay a deeper lesson. The internet makes it easy to confuse perception with reality. A carefully constructed persona can captivate the world, but when tested against facts and evidence, myths eventually unravel. Tate's story reveals how modern influencers can weaponize attention. Every boast, every exaggeration, every controversy was not random, but part of a larger system designed to draw people in. He wasn't just selling courses, he was selling an identity. For young men searching for guidance, that identity felt real. It gave them hope, confidence, even purpose. But when the mask slipped, what remained was disappointment, anger, and in some cases, betrayal. He knew how to manipulate sympathy too. When rumors emerged about him battling serious illness, some fans believed he had lung cancer, only to later watch him appear perfectly healthy. What could have been a moment of honesty instead became another example of controlling the narrative. By the time these stories reached the mainstream, many no longer knew what to believe. Was he truly suffering, or was it just another tactic to keep himself in the headlines? Even his legal tactics carried the same pattern. Instead of addressing accusations directly, he launched lawsuits quotes against his accusers. To his fans, this looked like strength, an alpha fighting back. But critics saw it as intimidation, a way to silence opposition through fear of retaliation. The effect of these strategies was to keep his audience locked into a constant state of drama, swinging between admiration and outrage.
I'm charged with being the head of an organized criminal group, which is in charge of recruiting girls to make TikTok videos to steal the money from the TikTok views.
It was a cycle designed to maintain relevance at all costs. But cycles cannot continue forever. Once the legal system entered the picture, attention could no longer be deflected by flashy cars or bold speeches. Evidence, not image, became the deciding factor. The images of Tate sitting in luxury supercars, dressed immaculately, lecturing about power and wealth, were suddenly replaced by stark footage of him in police custody. The contrast was jarring. For years, he had presented himself as untouchable, beyond the rules that governed ordinary men. But now he appeared vulnerable, his fate in the hands of judges and prosecutors. For many, this moment carried symbolic weight. It wasn't just about one man's downfall, but about what it represented. The rise of Andrew Tate showed how social media can elevate a persona to global fame almost overnight. But his fall revealed the other side, that no amount of views, no number of followers, no carefully polished image can shield someone from accountability. And yet the story is not over. Tate still commands a loyal audience, still posts messages from house arrest, still insists that he is being targeted by powerful forces. To his most devoted followers, nothing will shake their belief. But to the wider public, the image of an invincible alpha has been shattered. The same internet that built his empire has now turned into a mirror, reflecting its fragility. The story of Andrew Tate is not just about one man's rise and fall. It is a cautionary tale about the digital age itself. An age where perception can be manufactured, where myths can spread faster than facts, and where millions can be drawn into believing a persona carefully crafted for profit. It shows how trust can be manipulated, how charisma can be weaponized, and how fame can blur the line between reality and illusion. Andrew Tate is neither the superhero he claimed to be, nor the martyr he now paints himself as. He is a man who built a kingdom on shaky ground, using lies as bricks and controversy as mortar. For a time, it stood tall enough to impress the world. But when tested, the foundation cracked. The paper champion who once seemed untouchable now faces the ultimate test, not of strength or bravado, but of truth. And so the question remains, when you see someone online promising wealth, power, or transformation, are you seeing the truth or just another illusion waiting to unravel? If you want more documentaries that cut through the noise and expose what's real, make sure you subscribe before you click away. It helps the channel grow, and it means I can keep bringing you stories like this where myth meets reality